Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at the new Pokemon TCG set that's just gone and been released. We need to have a look at Shining Revelry, and we need to ask, how are we going to win with Charizard and some of these other shiny Pokemon on day one? I like doing this, where we sit down on the very first day a new set is legal, and we try and figure out the best way to actually go ahead and win with particular cards. So let's start off with Charizard. Now, Charizard presents some issues, to be blunt with ya. It's 5 energy, but it does 150 damage. 150 damage is frankly absolutely absurd. It's a ridiculous amount of damage. It's enough damage that you don't need to worry too much here about actually playing around with trying to increase that damage, because you're already doing a huge amount of damage. You'll basically get whatever you need to. Now, there is a question as to whether this is better than just playing the Charizard we already had, the one from Genetic Apex, and the answer is maybe, honestly. Because it takes 1 more energy, but you don't have to discard any, and you've got 180 HP, which is the same as before, and you do 150 damage, but there isn't much that you actually need to hit over here. And if you really want to make sure you're hitting everything, we got stuff like Red, which will put you up to 170, which, to be fair, still won't get things like Charizard, but you're doing 150, and you're doing it turn after turn. The issue with a Genetic Apex Charizard is that you hit 200, and then you better just have extra energy on there. Here, you just hit again and again and again until you've won the game. So, couple of ways we can do this. Way number 1 is that we just use Stoke. We just attach free energy from your energy zone to this Pokemon. That is an option. The issue with that is that we're then going to be in the active to take a hit. So you can use Stoke. Stoke is absolutely an option. It's not one that I would personally recommend. That's just me. What I think we need to be doing here is using our old friend Moltres. Put Moltres in the active and do the flipping thing. Moltres, of course, lets you flip 3 coins and attach an energy for each heads that you flip. And you need to make sure you're playing X speed here, and there's honestly a strong argument that you should be playing Leaf as well, because what needs to happen here is that you get the energy and you get out the active before you are KO'd. Yes, there is absolutely a possibility your opponent plays a Cyrus and then KOs you, and that's very bad. It makes this plan a lot weaker, but that's essentially what you need to do here. And it's not an easy thing, I'll be honest with you. It's not a perfect option, because either you've got to use Stoke and then you're sat there in the active and that's an issue, or you've got to use Moltres and then you've got to get out of dodge. But the problem is it might not matter, because if your opponent plays a Cyrus, then they can just bring you back in the active and KO you anyway. But that's how you're winning with Charizard. It really is as simple as that. Obviously, your search here becomes absolutely huge, because you've got to have your Charizard up as fast as possible. So that means that, you know, we've got to be playing the classics. Obviously, we're playing a couple of Pokeball. That's in every single deck. That gets your basics. Obviously, a couple of Professor's Research to draw some cards. That's every deck. Obviously, we are playing a couple of Pokemon Communication here so that we can swap Pokemon for other Pokemon. These are all absolute no-brainer. These are not negotiable. You need to get your Charizard out. Other than that, that's about what you need. Obviously, you can play your own Cyrus here, but you don't probably need to, given that you should be trying to one-hit KO everything. Red from the new set to make sure you get KOs on bigger Pokemon can be very important. Sabrina, I would recommend very strongly here, because you can force a Pokemon up into the active to try and make your prize map a bit better. If you want to KO a 2-prizer and they put their only 1-prizer active or 1-pointer active, make them switch and then KO it. But this needs to be a very straightforward deck. It needs to be a deck whereby You get Charizard rolling nice and quickly, and then you get Moltres to attach. And the second you got 5 energy on Charizard, you get Moltres out the active, put Charizard up. And honestly, at that point, you win in a couple of turns. Other options here, of course, the Shaman for healing, just because healing up can help you not get KO'd, your Moltres, Charizard, all of that. Also, Giant Cape, exactly the same deal, trying to make sure that you're not giving up points unless you absolutely have to. And Mars here actually works really nicely, just as a little bit of hand disruption. If your opponent does take a couple of points, then you can essentially use this to try and slow them right down, and then that'll give you a bit of time to come back. Is it better than the other Charizard? I'm not entirely sure, but I do like that we don't have to discard energy or any of that. If you still want to play with shiny Pokemon, but you don't know if you want to be playing with Charizard, I adore the new Wugtrio. I think the new Wugtrio is fantastic. It's one of my favorite cards in the set. And if you want to win with shiny Pokemon on day one, this is your boy as far as I'm concerned. I love this. Now, we've got Wiglet. For a single energy, you do 30 damage to a random Pokemon. That's actually brilliant. Like, no, it's probably not going to go to the Pokemon you want. It's still 30 damage. Turn 1 going second. Love it. Wugtrio is free energy, but one of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen at random 3 times. And every time a Pokemon's chosen, do 50 damage. You're doing 150 damage for free energy on a stage 1. Yes, I am well aware that it's actually a little bit annoying, because you're not always going to hit what you want here. Fine. But the fact of the matter is, we got Manaphy. And Manaphy's been a pro. Like, everyone should have Manaphy by now. So we've got Manaphy, which is going to be fine. That will get energy. Obviously, we've still got Misty. That will get energy. It shouldn't be that difficult to get the energy here. It should be pretty straightforward to get the energy. And once you've got the energy, you can just be doing damage all over the place here. And I think this is absolutely phenomenal. It's only got a retreat cost of 1, so you can be flicking around your Wugtrio as you like. And again, very similar to what we said with Charizard here, I just really want to try and keep this alive to do this as much as we possibly can. So what we're going to be doing here is doing things like Irida. Yeah, I adore that we've got Irida here. Irida here just makes this absolutely fantastic. Play Giant Cape, play Irida that will heal 40 damage to each of your Pokemon with any water energy attached. But the thing is, because you've got a retreat cost of 1 with Wugtrio, and you should be getting this going pretty early, you can actually retreat and potentially be healing both your Wugtrio at once, which is obviously fantastic. And obviously you need to be playing 2x speed here, because you really want Manaphy turn 1, so X speed in this deck is just absolutely non-negotiable. I'm not sure Charizard is the strongest of the new shiny Pokemon, but I do think Wugtrio is awesome, and if you want to play a shiny Pokemon day 1, this is my personal recommendation. And it's not a shiny Pokemon per se, but look, the other shiny Pokemon we've got are Beedrill, a stage 2, that only does 80 damage, which I just don't think is efficient enough. And then we've got Lucario, which takes 3 energy and does 100 to the active, 30 to the bench, which again, I think that's too much energy for what you're actually doing here. So the other shiny EXs aren't working for me. I think Wugtrio is my boy. But I'm going to give you just a backup here, because we've got Paldean Clodsire, and also look at the Rend alternate art here. There's no shiny, annoyingly, for this, which makes me really sad. But Paldean Clodsire, I absolutely adore. 2 energy, 120 damage if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned. But we got Graphite in the set. And Graphite actually has an alternate art as well, which is phenomenal. But Graphite says flip a coin, and if heads, poison. It's brilliant. And of course, if you want certainty, don't worry your pretty little head about it, because we've got Wheezing here, whereby if it's active, you get automatic poison, which is brilliant. And then we've got a Coughing as well, which has got single energy 20. and 70 HP. So I actually really, really like here that we can go Wheezing. And then, Graphite is obviously better. Yeah, I'm not arguing about this. But you've got to flip ahead. And if you don't flip ahead, it's actually super annoying. So, yeah. I like this very much indeed. Use Wheezing to guarantee the poison. And then you've got Coughing as a decent attacker. And I love this. I like Wugtrio from the new set. I really like Powder and Clodsire, just because 2 energy 120 is great. There will be times where you don't get the poison. But let's say you get 2 Graphite on your bench. You've got to flip double tails to miss poison. And even then, your opponent's going to be constantly having to retreat to get around the poison. I think this is very, very fun. Obviously, you cannot retreat the Wheezing into the active and then retreat into Powder and Clodsire all on the same turn. But I think we're going to be okay. Wheezing, of course, you will also need to play Leaf so you can retreat it out the active. But that's going to be fine. So there we go. Shiny Revelry is out right now. And Charizard, I'm not convinced, but I've shown you a way that we can try and make it work. Wugtrio, I think, is a way more fun EX. And I've got some love for Powder and Clodsire. Even though it's not a shiny, I'm sorry. So there we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these. Tell me what decks you're playing around with in the new set. Let me know all of this in the comment section. Good us. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at LeWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon Pocket and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Stegoraptor, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.